Welcome to GK Mojo. Today we are back with reading comprehension part 3. So again I've brought some tips to you how to solve reading comprehension in the best way possible to crack CAT. Alright. Also after that we are going to cover a CAT 2017 reading comprehension set that I felt was very important and should be discussed. Alright. So first and foremost thing, let us get started with the basic concept as I usually take before solving any set. So the concept of reading comprehension. In the last video, we saw structure words, alright, and their applications and how we can dissect a passage, right? I gave you some important tips with respect to dissecting and understanding a passage, how comprehension of a passage can be done better, right? We also saw a very important strategy called snapshot strategy, which was fairly been used by a lot of students and we got very good reviews for that. Alright, today what we are primarily going to discuss is about approaching the questions. Approaching questions, a very vital part of solving reading comprehension. Alright, so without wasting any time, let's get started with it. First and foremost thing, read the question. Alright, read the question carefully with a peaceful mind. Alright, be aware about the words like except, alright, apart from, or negative connotations. Be aware about such words, alright, because you will end up making silly mistakes even if you know the correct answer. Alright, second and foremost point, identify the part of the passage, alright, to which this question belongs. Alright, very important. So basically what you have to do is you have to hunt for that part. So pick up the keywords in the questions, alright, and go back to the passage if required. So many a times what happens is there is a delusion in students' mind that if you are supposed to reread the passage, there's something wrong with you and you have screwed up the passage. No, it's not the case. Alright, it is absolutely fine to go back to the passage and read the part if you're not sure. And this mainly applies to the direct questions, alright, direct or fact-based questions. Inference based questions, so anyways if you want to go back and identify some keywords or structure words, you can do that. But for direct questions, if you want to make sure that whatever you're thinking about the answer is 101% absolutely right, you can go back to the passage. All right, so this is that part. Now we move on to the next step. All right, this is a very important step and not many people will tell you about it. It is paraphrasing. All right, paraphrase the answer in your mind. So come up with your own answer before checking. Alright, what this will do is it will help you avoid traps. Alright, some option traps that are definitely been planted over there to confuse you, right? So this will help you avoid your traps. Secondly, avoid going between answer options. So what happens is usually you come down to two options, say A and B, and you cannot spot the difference. What is the difference between A and B? You cannot decide which is the correct answer. You keep on reading A again, B again, A again, B again, but still you're not able to find out. Do not do that. Alright, so this paraphrasing thing will help you eliminate that stuff and will save a lot of time for you. What is this paraphrasing? So before you like mark or read the options, you have to think about what can be the answer to this question. You have just read the question in your mind, you went to the passage, you hunted the part of that passage, again gotten a very definite idea about what it is, and you decided yes, this can be the answer for this. Then you come back to the option and choose the best possible option. This will help you eliminate the wrong option, trap options, and help you not get confused between two options, which will eat up a lot of time of yours, right? And the last step is just match with the correct answer, pick the best answer, and make sure that you check all other options as well, all right, before picking up. All right, more often this strategy works. Paraphrasing strategy will help you eliminate at least 80% of the wrong choices. So this is a basic list of rules that you should remember for the approaching question type. All right, first, as we have discussed, go through the question quickly and carefully. All right, second, hunt that part of the passage that contains the information to your question. All right, third, very important one, Paraphrase the answer in your mind. Alright? Try to guess or judge an answer in your mind. Fourth, eliminate wrong options with the help of the point number 3 that I have mentioned above and mark the correct choice. And this is a general point that I am giving you. Become adept at figuring out why wrong answer choices are wrong. Alright? So what this will do is you'll know that there is a specific pattern for which the wrong answer choices are wrong, and you will become a pro at this thing in eliminating wrong answer choices. Definitely this works, and this works in all the reading comprehension passages that have historically come in CAT and ZAT and all other examination, premier MBA entrance examinations. Alright, so let's get started with a RC set that came in CAT 2017. So let us start reading this RC set that we have over here. Scientists have long recognized the incredible diversity within a species, but they thought it reflected evolutionary changes that unfolded imperceptibly over millions of years. That divergence between populations within a species was enforced according to Ernst Mayr, the greatest evolutionary biologist of 1940s. And when a population was separated from the rest of the species by a mountain range or a desert, preventing breeding across the divide over geologic scales of time. Without the separation, gene flow was relentless. But as the separation persisted, the isolated population grew apart and mutation occurred. Alright, so this but is a structure word over here. Keep this in mind. In the mid 1960s, the biologist Paul Lish, author of The Population Bomb 1968, and his Stanford University colleague Peter Evans challenged Mayer's idea about speciation. They had studied checker spot butterflies living in Jasper Ridge Biological Preserve in California. Alright, and it soon became clear that they were not examining a single population. Through years of capturing, marking, and then recapturing the butterflies, they were able to prove that within the population spread over just 50 acres of suitable checker spot habitat, there were three groups that rarely interacted despite their very close proximity. Among other ideas, Ehrlich and Raven argued in a now classic paper from 1969 that the gene flow was not predictable and ubiquitous, as Mayer and his cohort maintained, and thus evolutionary divergence between neighboring groups in a population was probably common. They also asserted that isolation and gene flow were less important to the evolutionary divergence than natural selection, when factors such as mate choice, weather, disease, and predation cause better adapted individuals to survive and pass on their successful genetic traits. For example, Ehrlich and Raven suggested that without the force of natural selection, an isolated population would remain unchanged, and that in other scenarios, natural selection would be strong enough to overpower gene flow. Let us have a look at question number 1. Which of the following best sums up Ehrlich and Raven's argument in their classic 1969 paper? So before diving into the questions and option, I would like to discuss what this passage was all about. So there were two people, like there was this mayor who said that when population gets separated, because of that evolution and biodiversity comes into place, right, over millions of years between species. But then this Paul and this Raven, they did a experiment on butterflies, checker spot butterfly as mentioned in the passage, and they found out that there were a lot of diverse species, approximate 3 types of species living within a 50-acre land, and it was nothing to do with the population getting separated. Alright, they argued that the gene flow was not as predictable and ubiquitous as Mayer and his cohort had maintained. Right, so these were the two opposing ideas that these two people had with respect to each other. All right, so this passage is about that. It is based completely upon the biodiversity theories that this had. All right, so what does this question say? Which of the following best sums up Ehrlich and Raven's argument in their classic 1969 paper? So if you see in the third passage, first line only, it is given. Among the other ideas, Ehrlich and Raven argued in now classic paper from 1969 that gene flow was not as predictable and ubiquitous as Mayer and his cohort had maintained. Right, so let us go through the option. Ernst Mayr was wrong in identifying physical separation as the cause of species of diversity. Okay, so we'll keep this aside, but this is a wrong option. Why? Because it asks which sums up the Ehrlich and Raven's argument in classic 1969 paper. So they should talk about the gene diversity, not about why Ernst Mayr was wrong, right? This is so personal. Let us look option number B. Checker spot butterflies in the 50-acre Jasper Ridge Preserve formed 3 groups that rarely interacted with each other. Again, this is very subjective. Alright, this is a factual sentence that they have given. This is not something that sums up the argument, right? So this option is definitely out. Option number C, while a factor, isolation was not as important to speciation as natural selection. Yes, definitely, I guess this is your answer. We'll keep this aside because this is precisely what the two scientists discussed in their paper. Option number D, gene flow is less common and more erratic than Mayer and his colleagues had claimed. This is a very close option with C, but now if you see the last paragraph, Ehrlich and Raven, alright, asserted that isolation and gene flow were less important to evolutionary divergence than natural selection. Asserted, alright, this asserted is a structure word. This sums up their argument, and this is what precisely option number C says, alright, in other language. Hence, D is eliminated over here, and your correct answer is option number C. So why was this other options wrong? Because we do not want to prove that Mayer was wrong. This does not sums up the argument. We want to give a logical explanation of what their argument concluded with, right? Hence option number C is the correct choice over here. Let us have a look at question number 2, a fairly easy question. All of the above statements are true according to the passage except, okay? So be aware about this word except. Option number A, gene flow contributes to the evolutionary divergence. Yes, this has been mentioned, I guess, in the passage. So you cannot choose this as option, so this is eliminated. The population bomb questioned dominant ideas about the species diversity. So the book Population Bomb, as mentioned in the passage, only challenged Mayer's idea about speciation and not all dominant ideas about species diversities. It is never mentioned all dominant ideas in the passage. It only argued that isolation and gene flow were less important to evolutionary divergence than natural selection, not that they were irrelevant, right? So this should be your choice, but still let us see option number C and D. Evolutionary changes unfold imperceptibly over years. Yes, this is mentioned. This is also eliminated. Checker spot butterflies are known to exhibit speciation while living in close proximities. Even this is mentioned, right? Because the scientist later who performed the experiment, Paul and Raven, they said that in 50 acres, there were 3 types of species available, right? So this clearly is mentioned in the passage. So this is also eliminated, this is eliminated, and this is eliminated. Hence the correct answer is option number B, which is not being mentioned in the passage at all. Alright. Yes, it is mentioned, but all dominant ideas, no. It only challenges one idea. Let us have a look at question number 3. The author discusses Mayer, Ehrlich and Raven to demonstrate that. So why did the author has all 3 of them mentioned? So you have to get into the head of author to know this, right? So this is pretty common sense. Let us go through the option. A, evolution is a sensitive and controversial topic. So what? So if something is sensitive and controversial, do you need 3 scientists to demonstrate it? No. So this option is eliminated. Option number B, Ehrlich and Raven's idea about evolutionary divergence are widely accepted by scientists. So what is the role of Mayer then? Because Mayer is also mentioned in the question. Hence this option does not discuss that. It's eliminated. The causes of speciation are debated by scientists. Yes, since it is debated by scientists, that is why the author gave us the point of views of Mayer, Ehrlich and Raven, right? So this option should be the correct answer. Let us see option number D. Checker spot butterflies offer the best example of Ehrlich and Raven's idea about again, this is only talking about these 2 people, not Mayer. Hence eliminated, right? So option elimination was possible over here. 3 options were very easy to eliminate, right? Also the passage does not describe evolution as sensitive and controversial, right? So we could easily eliminate option number A. Neither does it state categorically that Ehrlich and Raven's idea about evolutionary divergence were widely accepted by scientists. This is never mentioned, right? This sentence. So this was eliminated. There is no evidence to state that checker spot butterflies offer the best example of Ehrlich and Raven's ideas, right? Best example. Look at over here. It's never mentioned that it was best. It was just mentioned, alright? Hence option number C is the correct choice. So now you saw how we eliminated options, especially in this question. There were some words used which were extra, which were not needed, or which did not contribute in the passage at all. Such options should be eliminated at once. So that's all in this video. Please visit us at gkmojo.com. Thank you.